Buongiorno di Roma. I'm here on the morning after what I think was the most exciting evening of my life. Of course, Pope Francis I was elected, and I was up in the NBC booth, which is up there above the square. And this place was the place to be on planet Earth, I tell you last night. People started coming to the square here hours and hours before the white smoke, even though it was, trust me, a miserable night. It was rainy, it was cold, it was damp. But the people came here by the tens of thousands, saw all the umbrellas. And then when the white smoke came, of course, the whole city of Rome came running here. At which point, by the way, the rain stopped. So right when the white smoke arrived and the Pope was about to come out, the rain stopped. And then, of course, at a terribly exciting moment when the name of the new Pope was announced. And a lot of us, believe me, up in the booth were surprised. Bergoglio would have been on maybe some of the longer lists, but not the short list. And there had been a rumor, by the way, that it was going to be an American and possibly Timothy Dolan. So there's a lot of buzz at NBC about that. But when Bergoglio was announced, we were surprised. Then out he came, and I could see him very close up from the TV monitor. And I must say, at first, my heart kind of sank when I saw him. And remember, he was just standing there, almost immobile, without a smile, without gesture. And so I was saying to the screen, do something, wave or gesture. He seemed kind of shell-shocked. But then when he began to speak, I was very taken by him. I was taken by his warmth, his simplicity, his humility. I love that gesture of asking the people to pray for him. And I also love that he, a bit like Tip O'Neill, who said all politics is local, when he said, I'm the Bishop of Rome, and my first move is to evangelize this beautiful city. That was a really nice touch. But above all, I was taken by his choice of name. And that's the first thing we learn about a new pope. Francis I. First time in 2,000 years, a pope has taken that name. And of course, as everyone's commenting now, the double valence of that. First of all, Francis of Assisi. Il poverello, the little poor man, of course, the Italians know him as. And this man, by all accounts, is a poor man, meaning he lives in very simple circumstances, very humbly. He eschews the trappings of power. He takes the tram to work and not a limousine. And I think that's a really winning way to put a new face on the church of humility, poverty, simplicity. Also, though, he's a Jesuit. And so many have suggested Francis Xavier as well could be an inspiration. And I say, why not? Francis Xavier, one of the really great missionaries in the history of the church. And that's the call now. Something else struck me was the famous words from the crucifix that St. Francis heard long ago. Francis, rebuild my church. During a time of corruption, especially clerical corruption, Francis hears this call to rebuild the church. I think this man is pretty clearly signaling that's also a call for him and for our time. Maybe beginning right here in Rome with a reform of the Curia. Greater transparency, greater efficiency, maybe some change in personnel, addressing those problems of corruption. So I think all that was being communicated rather clearly. So those are my first impressions. I've been reading a lot about the new Pope, impressed by his commitment to the poor, to social justice, his doctrinal integrity. Here's someone that resisted a lot of the kookiness of the 1970s, resisted liberation theology, which I think is a good thing, advocating the poor, yes indeed, but there's no reason for Catholics to turn to Karl Marx. We have tremendous resources in our own social teaching tradition. So all that I find deeply attractive about this new Pope. So we shall see in the days that come. I'll stay here until the installation of the new Pope, and we'll be sending you more updates as we come. So please keep praying for me and pray for the church at this very important time, and especially for our new Pope, Francis I. And God bless you all.